Hi, my name is Lovey Hills. I am a intern clinician and I will be interviewing Rosario. Rosario is a Hispanic female in her mid 50s, recently divorced, with two grown children. She is presenting low mood. She's feeling hopelessness, and her marriage ended some time ago. Her husband left when after the children were born. He felt that things were a little stale for him, so he ended up leaving. Um, Rosario grew up as the only child, and she felt isolated, and she struggled to feel loved by her parents. She relied on herself for emotional support. She felt like she had no one else there to support her. She met her husband in college, and he ended up. They both decided to be stay, or she would be a stay-at-home parent the kids. So she ended up dropping out of college. Now that her kids are out of the house, she feels alone, and she doesn't know what to do, and she's doubting her lovability and that she feels all alone, just like when she was a child. Rosario is a devout Catholic, and she also feels like she's been abandoned by God. Um, and what I will go over with Rosario are we will set some goals, um, depending on her presenting problem, and we will go over that, and it will be a collaborative experience for her. And I will use techniques and interventions, which is providing support for Rosario and uncovering unconscious material, listening, and reflecting. Okay, and we will begin. All right. Hi,
Hi.
Rosario. What brings you in today? How are you?
Um, I'm okay.
Mhm.
I feel kind of sad. Um, my husband left me for another woman.
Oh, I know that can be very painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me, when you say that you're a little sad, can you tell me more about that so I can have a better understanding of what that feeling looks like?
Well, it's like this feeling of abandonment and
Mm-hmm.
loneliness that I feel like I have no one in this world. That's just me and myself, and I believe in God, but I don't even think God is there for me.
I hear that you're saying you don't feel like God is there for you, and you also feel abandoned and sad. Can you tell me more about the abandonment that you're feeling?
It feels like life has no meaning. Like, who's gonna stay in my life? My husband didn't even stay in my
Mm,
life.
that sounds very painful. It sounds like you were alone, as if you don't deserve love. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I would like to do, you did mention that you feel sad and abandoned, and you mentioned also that you feel like God abandoned you and you're not worthy of love. I would like to set some goals with you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but the goals aren't for me. The goals are more so for you. I'm here to provide that support for you to ensure that you feel like you're being supported and that you have someone on your team that can show you that they care, because I do. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Okay, I want to ask you before we go on is when we set these goals, do you have any goals in mind right now that you would like to
Um,
work on?
I would like it if I could stop feeling abandoned by everyone.
Okay, I understand. That can hurt. That can feel very, um, make you feel alone and
Yeah.
make you feel like you're not loved and that um, it's like you're carrying the world on your shoulders, the weight of the world on your shoulders, and this is not a good feeling, and I understand that that probably really hurts you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would like to, your goal would be to,
To um have better relationships with people, I think feel closer to others.
okay. And how do you think that you can go about building that relationship with others and feeling like you're more, like you're close with them and you're building a relationship? What does that look like to you?
Well, we can laugh together and cry together
Okay.
and do fun things together,
Yeah.
and just be there for one another and not have to hide behind a smile.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. And that sounds like a really good relationship with someone if you can develop that. And I definitely think that's a great goal that you're setting for yourself because you're pushing yourself to be more social and coming out of that shell of feeling unworthy and like you don't deserve love. And now your goal is I want the opposite for myself. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. So we will definitely revisit the goal after, but I wanted to set that up with you. Also, I do want to go back to the abandonment piece that you mentioned, if that's okay. Okay. So, is there a time where you can recall where you felt abandoned in your life?
Yeah, in my childhood, I grew up as a only child, and
Mm-hmm.
my mom and dad worked a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and so they weren't there that often for me. So I played by myself. Sometimes I cooked for myself.
Oh, okay.
Um, my parents didn't pick me up after school. I would walk home
Yeah.
from school. So that's when it started, I think.
Yeah, that, being alone so much, you having to cook for yourself and walking home alone can feel very alone, very like you don't have that relationship bonding with your parents and people around you. And that seems like it's very lonesome.
Yeah.
Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, was there a reason why your parents maybe weren't around or,
They worked a
oh, they
lot.
did, so you did. Okay, so
They
they
worked a
worked
lot,
around.
and that's not the only reason. They also spent a lot of time going to parties with their friends.
Oh, interesting.
So when they would leave me at home and say they're going to go hang out with their friends, and that's another reason why they weren't home that much.
Yeah, that has to be hard.
Yeah.
It has to be hard to go through that during your childhood and not feeling like you are worthy enough for them to be there and be with you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, are you gonna abandon me too?
No, my I am here to support you and be here for you. This space that we have right now is for you. It's for you to express how you feel. It's for you to tell me, whatever is bothering you. And I'm here to listen and we can work together to ensure that when you leave here, you have different tools to use whenever you feel like you're abandoned or those feelings of self, you're not feeling like you have that self worth or that love for yourself comes into play. Because you will experience those feelings over time, and it's about how you manage them. Is that
Thanks.
okay? Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to work with me.
Yeah, I really would love to work with you, and I
Okay.
want you to know that you can call whenever you need my support. I'm here. Um, I am your therapist. I'm here to ensure that you become healthier because you
Thank
deserve
you.
that. You're a beautiful person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That makes me smile.
I'm glad I noticed you're smiling. That's a good thing. I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, you mentioned your abandonment when you were a child, and that is tough. Um, when you were married, how was that with your husband?
Well, at the beginning, it was awesome. It was like he loved me and he supported me, and I've
Mm-hmm.
never felt that before. It was like, what is this feeling?
Yeah.
I felt like I was flying.
Yeah.
And then after a while, things just got distant between
Mm-hmm.
us, and he worked a lot, and I just wanted to be by myself,
Yeah.
and sometimes I wasn't taking that good of care of the kids even because I just wanted to be by myself, and then he ended up leaving me for another woman.
Oh, that has to feel awful.
Yeah.
Am I getting that right? That has to make you feel like the abandonment that you felt when you were a child. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Also, I do want to say that when it's hard to really take care of yourself, or take care of your children if you can't take care of yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's tough because we as people have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of others. And I
Mm-hmm.
usually tell people, my clients, that when you're on an airplane, right? You're on an airplane, you're flying, you're ready to take off, I should say, and you have a stewardess who's telling you where the masks are and, where the emergency exits are, and she's explaining this to you, and she's saying, parents, if you have a child next to you, what do? Take the mask and put it on yourself first before you can put it on your child, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like to say, in order for you to take care of your child, you have to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
In order for you to take care of yourself, we have to get you back healthy mentally so that you're able to, I know they're older now, but also show up for them like you
Yeah.
used to, because it's
Yeah.
tough. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Um, so it seems like what happened to you as a child, you feeling that sense of abandonment and not having a lot of love, um, being cared for and nurtured, is showing up or has showed up in your relationship with your now ex-husband. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I think it has, like, and I never saw it coming. I thought
Yeah.
he was going to be my savior,
Mm-hmm.
and he left me, and I had 2 kids, and I dropped out of college for him. So
Yeah.
I couldn't really work because I didn't have an education.
That's hard. How do you feel when you look at that or when you think about that, not being able to do things for yourself, and now you're in a place where you're looking back at it? Like, what are you feeling right now?
Right now, I just feel really sad and lonely. Like, I'm
Oh,
talking to you, but I'm just like, when is she gonna leave me too? I know you said you're not going to, but inside, that's how I feel.
yes. I hear you too. And when you say, when is she going to leave me? Can you tell me what that means so I can have a better
Like, you're gonna
understanding?
get sick of me and just want out because I have too many problems.
Okay. I understand. You're scared. Sound like you're scared that
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going
scared.
to leave you because of the problems that you say that you have. Am I
Yeah,
getting that right?
yeah,
That's understandable. When we feel like we are a burden to others, we tend to, you know what, they're going to leave me too. They're going to abandon me. I'm doing too much. I feel like um, I'm expressing things that's probably going to make them feel like, oh gosh, this person complains a lot. But no, I'm here to be your support system.
thank
I'm
you.
here to listen, and I'm here to ensure that you get better space mentally.
Yeah,
So you don't have to worry about that. I am going to be here.
thanks.
Yeah. But the feeling of abandonment is very challenging
Mm-hmm.
to really get away from. How, when your husband did leave, what was that experience like for you?
Um, I felt like this ocean of emotions,
Mm.
this tidal wave of grief just flooding over me. Like, it kept coming in waves and waves, and I couldn't handle it. It was overwhelming, and I stayed in bed for 3 weeks.
Oh,
I couldn't get out of bed.
that's tough.
Yeah,
I know that's probably a worrying feeling and a scary feeling
yeah,
where you don't feel like you're in control of your own body and your mind,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
That's tough. And you mentioned grief.
yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Well, it was a loss.
Oh,
It felt like I died inside. I can't quite explain what grief feels like, but it felt like losing someone you love very much, and the pain of loss.
yeah. That's challenging. That has to hurt.
Yeah,
That
it
is,
hurt a lot.
yeah.
Still hurts.
That pain is there, and I see it.
Yeah,
I'm seeing it when you talk about your story and your
yeah,
experience. I see that it's really affecting you
yeah.
right now, and I can hear it in your tone
Hmm.
that it's really bothering you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but makes it okay if I'm talking about it a little bit. I'm not sure, but it makes it a little better when I talk about it.
What are the feelings coming up for you when you do talk about it with me?
Um, it's a little bit comforting.
Okay. Comforting. And tell me more about how that comforting feeling feels to you.
Well, it gives me that
Mm-hmm.
warm feeling inside that I had when I first met my husband.
Oh,
That's what it feels like.
yes. Tell me more about the warm feeling. It seems like you kind of lifted up when I seen
Yeah,
that.
it's like, is that what being loved by your parents feels like? Is having that feeling inside? That's what I feel.
Yeah.
And maybe like what God's love feels like if I didn't feel abandoned by Him also. Like I've sinned too much for Him. Maybe that's what it would feel like too.
Yeah, I know you mentioned God a couple of times
Yeah.
in our session. And you feel like He abandoned you as well. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. My faith is really important to me,
Mm-hmm.
but um, I think because I've sinned so much that He's just like, see you later, kiddo. You're a lost cause. I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Yeah. And it it's kind of easy to get caught up in that thought process that God also abandoned you, right?
Yeah.
Because you also said you feel like your parents abandoned you and you were isolated as a child, and then you get married and your husband leaves and goes and with another woman, and there's another sense of abandonment. So not only were you abandoned by your parents, you feel you were abandoned by your ex-husband, and now you're abandoned by God. This is what you're feeling. Am I getting that right?
Pathetic, huh?
No. Why would you say pathetic? Tell me where that's coming from, or where that.
Well, someone who no one seems to want to stay around.
Now, I understand that you're saying that you feel like nobody wants to stay around. Now, is that you who doesn't want to be around people, or people don't want to be around you?
That's a good question. I think I don't want to be around people.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like when things may happen in your life, you may kind of retreat and just stay in your own world of isolation. And it looks like from your childhood until adulthood, you've been doing that a lot.
Yeah.
When things are challenging, you feel unloved, you don't feel worthy of, having someone, and you feel that sense of abandonment, you isolate, right?
Yeah.
And I've noticed that there are symptoms of depression, and I'm not saying that you are, but the symptoms I'm noticing are low mood, sadness, not a lot of energy, um, guilt. It seems like you're blaming yourself a lot too.
Yeah.
We isolate sometimes.
So I'm depressed.
I wouldn't say you're depressed. It'll take me another session or so, and to make sure I get the right diagnosis. But you are showing some symptoms that kind of correspond, and that may be why you feel such low mood and maybe isolation. But that's something that, with our goal that we created collaboratively, we can definitely take a look at it and work on that.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah, maybe with some mindfulness activities. I don't know if you've ever tried meditation, but
Yeah, I like to meditate.
yeah, but we can also discuss that
Okay.
towards the end and go from there. Try to get you into some activities that you like, and then see if we can expand from that.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
And I notice your face is telling me that you're really, really sad.
Yeah. I mean, I've just never felt loved in my life.
Yeah.
Besides my husband. And God's supposed to be our savior. He's supposed to show us unconditional love. We're supposed to have the joy of the Lord because He loves us, but I don't even feel that. Like, what? I mean, God doesn't even love me? What the heck?
Yeah, that is hurtful, right? To feel that way when you feel like the one person who's your savior is supposed to be there and never abandon you,
Yeah.
right? And it may feel like that because of everything that's happened in your life. and you feeling like, okay, this has happened to me when I was a child, and now it's happening again. And where's God now? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
That's painful. I see a lot of pain in you right now.
Yeah.
You know, but I do believe that with you going, because I know you mentioned you're Catholic, and do you go to church as well?
Yeah, every Sunday.
Yeah, and does that bring some kind of relief or some kind of happiness when you go to church? How do you feel when you're there?
I like looking at the statues of
Oh,
Jesus and Mary,
yeah.
and I like praying my rosary, and I like taking communion. Um, but sometimes it feels like I'm just going through the motions because I feel so empty inside.
Okay.
But, you know, I mean, miracles happen.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned the positive things when you go to church. You like the rosary that you hold. You like to look at the statues, right? Those are things that you can try to embrace when you're there. Like, okay, these are the positive things I see. And I know you mentioned that you feel, what was the last thing?
The communion?
Yeah.
That's like taking the round bread, the Eucharist.
Right.
Yeah.
And how do you feel when these activities are happening in church? What do you feel?
I feel like a little bit lighter and a little better. It does make me feel good.
And what makes you feel, you said you feel lighter. Can you tell me more about that?
It just feels like I'm a part of something bigger than myself.
Yeah.
So maybe that's God, but I don't know.
Yeah. It could be. And I hear you when you say that it could be something bigger than what you think it is, right? And it could be God. And I feel like when you go to church, when you talk about it, you seem more upbeat. This is what I'm noticing with you. I'm sensing that you feel good about it. It's just the doubt that comes in when you are alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm my own worst enemy when I'm alone.
Yeah. Why do you say that? What makes you say that?
Well, they say your mind is not a good neighborhood to go in by yourself.
Interesting. I haven't heard that saying. Can you explain more about that?
Well, it's just when you're by yourself, you start to get to thinking, and sometimes you don't think so good.
Yeah. Can you tell me about any thoughts you've had that are not so good?
That I'm worthless piece of crap.
Ooh, those are harsh words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely not that. That's part of the self-worthlessness and feeling like now you're starting to blame yourself when there's no need to.
Yeah.
You've dealt with things from when you're a child, which is abandonment and feeling like you weren't loved, and now possibly because your marriage ended, maybe you feel like you failed or you're a failure in some way. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
And so now when you're alone, you have these thoughts of you're worthless and people view you as a piece of, which I don't want to reiterate, but you're definitely not that. But it seems like that cycle of what happened to me as a kid, I'm not worthy of love, my husband, God now, and now nobody loves me when I'm out, wherever I'm at. And now you're struggling with that feeling.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel now that we're talking about that?
Well, no one's ever really helped me see that that's what's going on with me. I never drew those connections. But yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard to make connections like that without someone there to kind of guide you through that.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with your sons?
It's good. They're grown now. They're both in college.
Yeah.
And they live on their own in a different state, but it's good. We talk over the phone, and sometimes they come out and see me.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Look at the positive side. I see when you talk about your sons, you look a little bit more brighter. I know it's hard, through all the things that you've gone through, but you seem like you lifted your head up and you're looking at me in my eyes. That shows me that there's love there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like you guys have a great relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that. Do you ever visit them too?
Um, Sometimes, but I'm kind of can't afford it sometimes.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, because I had to drop out of college, so I work at CVS.
Yeah. At least you smiled.
Yeah.
You have a job. That
Yeah.
means that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
You're not isolating too much. Now you're able to work, right? And it may be a job that's temporary or something you may love it, you know. However, the point is that you're doing something that's out of your realm, as you're not just isolating.
Yeah.
That's a great step,
That's true.
right? Have you made any connections there? Any?
Not yet.
No. Okay. It takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how are you feeling now?
Um, I don't know. It's hard to describe in words. I don't know what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I guess I feel a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's reassuring that you're not gonna abandon me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not here to abandon you. I'm here to be your support system
Mm-hmm.
and listen,
Mm-hmm.
um, and let you know that I understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
I understand it, and it's not easy.
Have you helped a lot of people who feel this way?
I have.
Okay.
I have, and everyone's different. All my clients are different. But my role is as the therapist is to ensure that you feel safe, you feel that you are being listened to, and that I care, that you see that I care. And if you ever need additional support, I'm always here, and I'm not abandoning you whatsoever.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I wish the best for you with everything that's going on. I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
But to go back to, I'm glad you have a good relationship with your sons. Maybe that's something you can focus on too, if you can. I know it's hard to travel, but maybe when they come home, try to do something as a family so you're not isolating. Do your sons notice it? Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always like, Mom, you need to get out more. You're always by yourself. So they say stuff like that to me, and I'm like, oh God, they're right. And I don't want them to think that their mom's this like just shut in.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've had a hard time with the divorce too.
Yeah.
You know, their father left and had kids with this other woman.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, my parents, just thinking about my parents a little bit.
Tell me what you're thinking about, what you're feeling.
I just wish that growing up they just cared about me so I wouldn't be this way. I just wish I could be happy.
Yeah. I understand. And I see that you feel, I sense the pain.
Yeah.
I'm sensing pain when you talk about your parents and how you wish they were there for you more. Excuse me, and that they showed love to you. I'm sensing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem to be, you kind of look down.
Yeah.
And I'm sensing also that in your heart you really yearn for that love and that connection with your parents.
Yeah, I really do. I really do, and I guess I can just try to show my kids that love.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. That is absolutely right, that you are looking to that. That's a positive thing. You're looking to showing the love that you may not have received as a child and in your marriage, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So when you mentioned the husband, your ex-husband had kids with this woman, what are you feeling when you tell me about that?
Betrayal.
Oh, betrayal. Yeah. That is betrayal. That is.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. When you say betrayal, what do you feel like he betrayed?
He betrayed my trust because he made me feel like we were going to be together forever. But then he wasn't available. he grew distant. So I should have seen it coming, and I grew distant too. Like, I kind of withdrew from him. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You mentioned twice, maybe more than twice, 2 times, but you mentioned being distant. You and him were distant. What did that look like?
we started sleeping in separate rooms.
Oh,
He started coming home less and less after work. We stopped being intimate with one another.
yeah.
Things like that.
So I'm hearing that you guys didn't really spend time with one another in intimacy, whether it's together or going for a walk. However that looks for you wasn't there,
Yeah.
and it seems like that was very painful. It
Yeah.
made you feel unhappy
Yeah.
and sad, and
Yeah.
it seemed like it bothered you a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So as our session is coming to an end, I want to ensure that if you have any questions for me or concerns, that we go over that, and also that we kind of go over the goals one more time, and that and then we can set an appointment for our next session, because I would like to see you again, so that we can work on these goals and check in and see how it's coming along. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Okay. So I do want to ask you if you have any questions for me.
About how many sessions do you think it will take to help me?
I don't know how many sessions it would take, and I don't want to rush it. I want to ensure that you get the best care and the help and support that you need. But we can definitely revisit that in the next session and just see how you're doing in each session and go from there.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions for me?
No.
Okay. So I do want to go over your goal, which was your goal of.
I forgot what.
That's okay. So you want to build better relationships with
Oh,
relationships with people,
Yeah.
right? And then kind of build that better relationships, maybe socializing more, not isolating as much, and just so that you feel like people are there for you, having that support system, right?
Yeah.
So what would you like to do? What do you feel like that? How does that look for you? Like, what would you? How can you
build
start?
my relationships? Well, maybe I could talk to people at church more.
Okay. That is a good start.
Yeah.
So going to church, since you go once a week, right? Or do you?
Yeah, once a week.
Going once a week, and then going to talk to, let's just say, maybe talking to 2 people each time you go to church.
Yeah.
2 different people.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
That sounds good.
It's not too much. You're okay with that?
I can do that.
Okay, so we'll say every Sunday, you will meet with, or not meet with, but introduce yourself to 2 new people in the church.
Yeah.
And then the next week we'll go from there. And once you meet that goal, we can check in. Once you meet that goal, we can see if we should increase the goal or change the goal. And so each time when you come to session, your goal will look different.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be the same, not each session, but when you meet that goal, we can always revisit it, and then we can change it to however you see fit.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Okay. And also, I know there was, but I do want to make sure that you're okay. Whenever you need, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you need, if you need to talk, the floor is yours.
Thank
I
you.
want you to know it's a safe place for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any other questions or concerns for me?
No.
Just checking the time to make sure we're good. So, okay. Well, I think that concludes our session.
Okay.
And I want to ensure that we're on a good page. And if you have any questions, feel free to call me.
Thank you.
And I will see you in the next session.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.